Maybe I can suit back.
Hi.
Thanks. Good evening, everyone. I'm Devin Zayas, and I'm here with my three friends, Kelly, Javon, and Derek, and I'll be talking to you about the Olympic sport of fencing. I'll be getting into a bit of history. I'll be getting to the three main types of fencing, which is foil, epee, and saber. Then from there, I'm going to transition to just mainly saber, because that is my area of expertise. And then I'll be getting into tournaments and how those are run and accomplished. So, let's get into it. History of fencing stems from sword fighting, which has been part of human culture for countless millennia. And in the mid 18th century is when it transitioned from military training to sport. To accomplish that, in the 17th century, an Italian inventor created what we know as the foil, which is our first weapon that we use. The foil is a lightweight thrusting weapon that was used primarily for training back in the 17th and 1800s. And since it was mainly used as a training weapon, they needed an actual dueling weapon, which is our second style that we use, which is called the epee. Epee is also a thrusting weapon, same as foil, and it was more of a heavier blade to protect yourself versus foil, which is just for practice. Now our third style, which is my favorite, it was used to be known as the cutlass, but now we know it as the saber, and it was made famous by Hungarian cavalry back in the early 1800s. So those are our three weapons, foil, epee, and saber, and how they came about. So let's move into just saber. So saber is actually my favorite. It's a very fast-paced, a very quick, decisive weapon that we use. It's for the fast-paced kind of guys. Think on your feet, thinking with a split second. For saber, it's not a thrusting weapon like foil or epee. It's actually a cutting weapon, cutting or slashing, that you get to use the edge of the blade as well as the tip if you need to. Now, with saber fencing, we have what we call rules of right-of-way. The only ones that also use rules of right-of-way is foil. Well, epee, it's kind of like anything goes. But rules of right-of-way for saber fencing is kind of like driving a car. You know, if you get to the stoplight at the same point, who do you know goes first? You know, there's different rules to dictate who will go. Same with fencing, if you both hit each other at the same time, who gets the point? So an example of this would be, say I'm chasing somebody down the end of a strip, which our playing field is called a strip. It's 12 meters long by 2 meters wide. So I'm chasing somebody down at the end of the strip, and we both hit each other. Well, since I was the aggressor, I was the one attacking him, I get the point. Now, let's say I'm chasing down the end of the strip, and I attack him, and he blocks me, which we call a parry. And then he hits me, and we both score, or both lights go on. Our lights would be our scoring apparatus, is what we call them. Well, say he blocks me, and we both hit. Who gets the point? Since I was the aggressor, but he's the one that blocked my initial attack, and then hit me, it'd be his point, because the rules of right went back to his favor for blocking me. Now that's saber fencing for you. It's a very fast pace. You know, there's very minimal downtime, like epee or foil, which are constantly just sitting there and thinking about the next move. Saber fencing is just quick, boom, boom, boom. Most of the time, our matches run no longer than 2 minutes, which actually runs me to my last topic, which would be tournaments. For tournaments, we start off with the bout committee, who are the competition organizers. Then we have the referees, who obviously referee the matches, or bouts as we call them. And for tournaments, we have 2 rounds that we do. We have a round called pool play, which, if you guys follow soccer, will be familiar with. There'll be a group of 5 to 8 fencers, all fencing each other. And the order that they come out of that dictates the order that they go into in the direct elimination round. Projectile elimination round, it's more of like March Madness where you beat one person, they're out forever, and you just keep going on. So we kind of have the best of both worlds in that aspect. So once you go from pool play to projectile elimination, the best fencer fences the very worst fencer. The best fencer will probably beat them, and they go on to figure out who is the winner. So those are tournaments of fencing. Now the Olympics, they kind of just go straight into projectile elimination, but that's a whole other story. So in conclusion, we went over the history of fencing, saber, which was made famous by the Hungarian cavalry. Then we went into just saber as well, and we learned about how fast it was and how quick it was as a weapon, as a sport. And then for tournaments, of how there's 2 rounds to every tournament except the Olympics. And this is my speech. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a little bit about fencing. Thank you.